It is said that school curriculum equally represents race and gender in textbooks. After doing extensive research, this is not the slightest bit true. Our counter-narrative is that the school do not equally represent race and gender in textbooks. This video is here to show our audience the flaws curriculum has through research, perspectives on high school students, how teachers are countering the dominant narrative, and ways we can improve our education system. Students of color wanted to learn more about themselves, culture, and gender, besides the same stereotypical and deficit information coming out of textbooks. While this is information supported by literature, we wanted to see what actual high school students and teachers thought about this issue. What do they think or notice about their curriculum?
Do you think you would be more interested in your classes if they were more diverse?
I mean, I'm interested now because I like to pull out the factoids that people didn't know and that they choose to leave out, but I feel like I'd be way more interested, and that's one of the reasons I chose to go to HBCU for university, because I feel like I missed out so much of my history, and I only learned about white history. So that's why I wanted to learn more about where my roots were placed, where people who look like me come from, and the things they've done to further this world.
Tell me what you've learned in your history class.
Well, I've learned about a lot of white male accomplishments, and only times I hear about anything other than white male accomplishments is when they've made a huge impact, like Susan B. Anthony or Martin Luther King Jr., but there's so many other people like James Baldwin and Maya Angelou and other people, like literature-wise and things that's happened-wise that should be celebrated and should be more revered in the way they're spoken about.
Our first interview really shed light on how the curriculum is in high schools today. In her first response, she explains how she is very excited to attend her historically Black college because she will finally learn about her history and be more in touch with her roots. In her second interview question, she states how there are more than just one groups missing in textbooks, and how if you focus in on one specific group, you do end up leaving other groups. In her final question, she describes what she has learned in history classes and that it's only been about white male accomplishments, and that the only time she hears about other accomplishments other than white males is if they have a huge impact like Susan B. Anthony or Martin Luther King Jr.
European history very oftentimes, and there's not a whole lot of world history that's in our actual standards. But no, I don't think that there's an even and equal representation as far as gender, race. I don't think so, not right now. I couldn't say that there is an equal representation as of right now, but it's something that I'm working towards personally. Next year, I've already thought about including things like the Declaration of the Rights of Woman and of the female citizen during the French Revolution, instead of just doing the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the citizen. And it's just, a lot of it boils down to just how much time you have in class.
After interviewing a history teacher, we saw that the problem does not come from teachers, but a lot of the times just the standards that are needed by them from the education system. A way to battle this issue is to make the time and focus on creating a diverse curriculum for your classes while also meeting expectations. It is difficult, but Mr. Gillian proves that it is possible. He is taking the steps to change curriculum for the better. A dominant narrative that is often talked about in schools is that curriculum equally represents race and gender in textbooks. But thanks to our research and interview with students and teachers, we noticed that said dominant narrative was not the case. Instead, we saw a counter-narrative, one in which the curriculum, mainly textbooks, omitted female figures in history and stereotyped/categorized people of color, showing an imbalance in equality. Because of particular factors such as nationalism and racial privilege by white men, possibly explains why students of color feel underrepresented in their classes and more. Multicultural education is a solution in which students can feel included and represented in their classroom. However, progressive content is not enough. We also want to make sure students have the same space where they can critically think about set issues and see what they too can do to make a difference in their own curriculum.